Hello everyone, this is Space Marine, and right now it is May 31st, and in fact, we're only 4 hours away from the beginning of the Atlantic hurricane season. Literally, it starts on June 1st at midnight, and lo and behold, we have a very likely tropical cyclogenesis event occurring. We discussed it yesterday. Yesterday, things were very shaky, but there looked like there was something forming, but today, it really looks like something's forming, and the National Hurricane Center has put like a 70% chance that a tropical cyclone will form basically somewhere in this area and then scoot off towards Cuba and Florida. And let's look at the satellite because this is the most interesting thing out of all of this. It's like a really exotic phenomenon going on. Alright, so first off, well, you can see here there's kind of like three areas of cyclonic weather, all kind of connected in this like jet stream, but there's like three spinning areas. The first area is the remnants of Hurricane Agatha. And by the way, there's footage just came out from Cyclone, Josh Morganman, who's like a professional storm chaser, and it was a lot stronger than maybe what they said it was. Like the winds at landfall were 105 miles per hour supposedly, but his film is like looks like a Category 4 or something. It was an insanely intense hurricane. But anyways, after several days over land, or maybe like one day, I don't know how long it's been, but it's been over land long enough that it's degenerated, and there's not like that deep convection in the eye wall and all that. There's just like this spin. But anyway, so here's the remnants of Agatha. And it's still a tropical cyclone. It actually survived the traverse of the mountains of Mexico pretty well. And it's actually very close to the Gulf of Mexico, the Bay of Campeche. In fact, this tropical cyclone has practically moved from the East Pacific into the Atlantic, which is something that happens once in a while. In this case, it didn't happen fully. Sometimes there are hurricanes that can cross from the East Pacific to the Atlantic. It happens. But anyways, in this case, here's the remnants of Agatha. And then, off to the east of that, this is the real area of concern. It's really starting to show a cyclonic motion on the satellite, like right here, centered just off the Yucatan Peninsula. And so yeah, it's spinning a bit. The next thing we need to see for cyclogenesis is deep convection. And there's been deep convection in these bands all day off of Cuba. And now, as convergence increases, as it spins more and more, there's deep convection firing off of the Yucatan right near the center of this thing. So this looks like the likely spot, as the model suggested, for tropical cyclogenesis. And it's a pretty big system. Check this out. You know, this system stretches all the way from like Mexico over here all the way out to Cuba. It's a nice big area. And it has good ventilation. You see this jet stream going across. That is ventilating it and helping to induce convergence at the surface and more convection. And then I also want to point out area number 3. There's this other spin off the coast of Florida. We had some really extreme weather here actually a couple days ago, and that kind of went off the coast and became its own low pressure system. It's more of an upper low than anything though, but anyways, there are like 3 cyclones kind of connected here, and it's a very complicated phenomenon, and that's going to make the forecast a bit difficult. Like I said in the last video, we're not really going to know exactly where this is going or how strong it's going to be until it really takes shape. It's starting to take shape, but we need to see the exact center of it, get a reconnaissance fix of the center, and have a well-defined satellite structure. At that point, we can start making like accurate cones. For now, it looks like there's 2 scenarios that could unfold, or there's actually 3. I'll just say scenario number 1, like nothing happens, but that seems not so likely anymore. It seems like something is going to happen. So let's look at the GFS scenario. That's the American model. That's the one I usually use. The GFS shows basically it's spinning more and more. This is 850 millibar theta E, and I use it kind of to show low-level tropical moisture. It's a good indicator of that, and it kind of shows where tropical cyclones are. You can kind of see like hot spots in the theta E. Well, anyway, so it shows it's spinning up and be kind of like a disorganized mass. It never really gets its act together. It's like a trough that's extended like this. And to make this make more sense, let's look at the pressure and precipitation maps. Anyways, so starting at like 48 hours, it starts to become a low, and then it heads off towards Cuba. But as you can see, it's kind of an extended area. It shows like a low here, a low here, a low here. That's like an axis. That's like a tropical wave sort of situation where it's like an open system where there are low pressures, but it's disorganized. There's multiple weak low pressure centers. So that's what the GFS is kind of showing, but it does show it getting its act together a little better, this low pressure center, as it leaves Cuba. And it misses Florida and goes into the Bahamas, but still causes some rain in Florida in this scenario. So what I think is going on in this scenario with the GFS showing a weaker system going from the Yucatan off into Cuba and off into Florida, whether it hits Florida or not doesn't make the difference. The scenario basically is that this wind shear, so like there's this jet stream, this high level this upper level high speed wind stream blowing all the way across, helping to reduce all this weather. It basically shows this new cyclone fighting against that jet stream. That's what the GFS is showing instead of like using it to its benefit. So basically, these powerful upper level winds will tear apart the storm as it tries to form, leading to multiple centers as it gets shredded apart over and over, and it will just end up kind of looking like this according to the GFS, but maybe a little more intense. But it would be like a very extended thing because the upper level winds will prevent it from getting its act together and organizing to a real center. So that's basically what the GFS shows, is that it'll get sheared apart as it's trying to form. But there's the European model, and the European model has been quite consistent. I know this is going really quick, but here's the Yucatan, here's Florida, here's Cuba, and it shows it deepening much more quickly and becoming a very large system. So basically what the European ECMWF model is showing is, what I think at least, is it's showing the upper level jet stream is working to the advantage of the system. So instead of the upper level jet shearing the system apart, it basically hooks into the system and gives it energy. And this is a more subtropical scenario. Basically, tropical cyclones, they're not really connected to jet streams like this, but there are subtropical cyclones where they can really feed off the energy of a jet stream. So basically, according to the ECMWF, like this upper level jet that's blowing across right here will kind of link into the system and strengthen it very quickly. I mean, this ECMWF is showing very rapid strengthening, and it shows not only a tropical storm, maybe like a hurricane, minimal hurricane sort of event possibly, and it's been consistent. It's been showing this day after day. So I'm not going to throw this scenario away just yet. We got to see what happens. But notably, if it does happen, it'll come apparent pretty quick. Like this thing should deepen very quickly and get its act together pretty quickly, and then head off towards Florida if this scenario is going to happen. We'll know basically by like maybe late tomorrow which scenario is really going to happen. Is this new tropical cyclone going to work with the jet stream and feed into the energy from it, or is it just going to get shredded apart by the jet stream over and over, so it's a weak, disorganized mess? Even in that case, it could be a tropical depression or a tropical storm. Definitely, there could be like a tropical storm, even in the GFS scenario. But the ECMWF is a more concerning scenario. And I mean, my thoughts as of now, there's no reason for me to make a forecast now, and I think there's an old expression at the Hurricane Center, it's like, don't make a forecast unless you have to. Well, I don't have to, but I'm just going to give my guess. I mean, it kind of looks like the jet stream is feeding into this, and it's like a very large system. And so I think the ECMWF is quite possible, but then again, the GFS is also quite possible, where it's just never really gets its act together. Like, it'll spin up like this, but then get sheared apart over and over. So yeah, and once again, the time frame is basically around, well, let's look at the time frame here. So if anything is going to happen, it looks like Saturday morning is when it would be passing by Florida, and Friday morning is when it's going to start like hitting Cuba. According to GFS, the ECMWF brings it like further north. But anyways, it looks like early this weekend, around Saturdays, when Florida could get an impact if anything happens. The National Weather Service has actually already started issuing a hydrologic outlook, because there's been tons and tons of rain here recently, and this is going to add more rain no matter what happens, even if it's a weak mess. So yeah, there's quite the possibility for floods here in South Florida. But yeah, we'll see what happens. Once again, I'm literally 4 hours away from the beginning of hurricane season. We all are at this moment, at least at the moment I'm filming, and it looks like we're going to have our first tropical cyclogenesis right on time. Alright, so that's the update for today, and I will definitely put out another update tomorrow as things progress. I think things could get quite spicy by tomorrow. We probably could have a tropical cyclone officially declared, maybe towards the end of the day tomorrow. So yeah, we'll see what happens, and like and subscribe, and I'll continue to update.